Hello, listener. We are AKA BK. We're part of AKA BK. And this is
Cecile.
What do you play?
I play the bass and I sing.
And I'm Brooklynn, and I'm the lead singer. Initially, we were brought up and raised in Metro Detroit, and then I moved to LA, I want to say 10 years ago for school. We met in kindergarten, and we played in our first band starting 5th grade. We played for maybe 3 years.
No, we played all the way through junior year of high school.
Junior year of high school. Maybe I blacked out the last few years from embarrassment. Nah, but we played for a few years, and then Cecile went to, sorry, there's a sick band playing right now. It's going to be distracting, but we're going to push through. Cecile went to a different high school than me, went to a different college, moved to a different state.
Yeah.
We went our separate ways, and then I started writing this project post-COVID. And eventually Cecile was kind of like talking a little bit of smack about being caught up in the corporate, cycle, being the hamster on the hamster wheel. And I was like, oh, you should just come visit LA, like hang out, listen to this music. Maybe we can play a little bit. And then Cecile visited, and what happened when you went home after that?
So I visited LA, and then I flew back to Chicago where I was living, and I got laid off the next day.
Boom! Destiny, baby! I started writing the project initially under just my own name, which is Brooklynn. And eventually, I knew for a while, because of growing up playing in bands in Michigan, that I really did want it to be more of a band dynamic and be more of a full band than just myself. And yeah, one day somebody was just like, oh, AKA BK, and I was like, oh, sure, bet. So kind of ran with that, and then we met our other players over the last year and 2 months maybe. We only started playing live a year and 2 months ago, and we've been very fortunate to just find some awesome players. Jake, who played drums tonight at the South by sets, he's a longtime hometown friend, also from Michigan, so we got him to fly out and play with us, and so it's been super awesome. Then we have Sean Gunner Lee on guitar, who we met through our other guitarist who's not out here with us on this one, Julian. So we've just happened to find some awesome players and really all mesh.
And having played you two together for so long, meeting these new people, how do you see that your style has evolved over time, whether throughout this project, even the last few years, playing with other players, or just from the beginning?
I think it's gotten more, in general, collaborative. I think anytime you it's like a mirror, somebody holds that up to you, and you can see what you identify and click with and what maybe doesn't serve you as much, and that can really shape the sound of a project. So every guitar player has different tones, and I think when you hear those tones, you either just kind of it sounds familiar or nostalgic to you, or it doesn't, and you figure out where they fit in the project, and that all ends up feeding into it. And a huge part of having Cecile come on to the project was vocals. Now the songs are being written with the lens of how do you interject a sweet backing vocal, a really sweet angelic backing vocal into a heavy maybe post-grunge, new wave song, right? And so it's a cool, I don't know, it just gives you more tools to work with. It's more colors in your palette to figure out, okay, what's the paint and the picture that I'm painting right now.
And I feel there's so much comfort with Brooklynn and I, even on stage. We're interacting, we're looking at each other. We can basically read each other's minds.
Yeah.
And so because we've had this friendship, for so long, 20 something years.
Oh.
It's been really helpful as we approach the live show and just how we work together. We're just so close.
Could you talk to me a little bit about your songwriting process and how that
It's the EP that's out now. I started with a good friend of ours, Caleb David Waterman, and we wrote all the songs together, and that's before I met any of these guys and before Cecile moved out here. And then as it seemed like Cecile was able to be more involved, we kind of went back in and put more vocals in that would make sense for her to support the live show. And now that I'm getting so distracted by these two goons over here. Hey! Get in here. Either get in or get out.
What's up, AKBK? I'm out.
Oh, shoot. That was Sean. Gunnerly. So then we wrote the project, and now it's kind of shifting, I want to be writing more as a band and as a unit. And the song that we put out at the end of our EP, Stuck, we actually recorded all together in a room, very like OG rock style. And I think you just feel that energy in the record. Bye. I think moving forward, we want to incorporate more of that.
I know you talked a little bit out there about what Mush means, but could you say that again?
Mush equals love. Mush is about being in love, and when you're in love and you feel all mushy and you're like, ugh, like I don't even want to say that word, like, ugh, like that's so gross. So we decided to say mush instead to make it a little easier.
What were some of like your biggest inspirations while writing that, musically, creatively, food, anything?
Okay, food.
Food.
Taco Bell. Taco Bell. We're waiting for the Feed the Beat sponsorship.
Feed the Beat. We need it.
We will apply again. We've applied in the past. We've been denied. Taco Bell for sure, but really like the Pixies. Yeah. Mush, the actual track, initially was a sample of Debaser from the Pixies. So if you listen to the Pixies, you'll hear the guitar lick, and then we were told to re-record it because they're like, you're going to get sued. And so that song, Debaser by the Pixies, it's a reference to a movie, and so our Mush, also the second verse, references a movie that I really like called Nowhere by Greg Araki. So we just wanted to like kind of pay homage to that like early indie, the legends.
Yeah.
I think the LA scene is interesting because it's very different from the scene that we grew up in. Detroit has a really rich and like determined DIY scene. It's just like through and through, historically DIY. That place just like lives and breathes that. And so it's always like a make it happen city. In LA, there's a lot of people there doing it for different reasons, and there's a whole industry. So I think it's easy to be kind of persuaded that it has to go one way when you first move there. It's like, oh, I can't book shows and I can't break through this thing because it's really competitive and whatever. But once you kind of get past that and you find the right people, I think to be able to champion that DIY scene in a space that doesn't have it kind of at the surface level and isn't necessarily championing it at the upfront, because the truth is I think a lot of scenes there can be kind of co-opted and made profitable by different groups, and that's not the point of a DIY scene. It's to like reach people who like need it and reach people who aren't able to like afford necessarily a freaking Live Nation ticket and all that. So to be able to like create that scene and participate and find those scenes that exist and like really champion that area is really fulfilling, and it's like awesome to see all those spaces that do that in LA.
Are there any other scenes around? I know you mentioned Detroit that you're super into or that you want to get more into. You see any bands you want to shout out?
Well, I'm gonna shout out Lubbock, Texas. They told me not to do this because they said like everything outside of this venue house can be a little like conservative and scary in Lubbock, Texas. Yeah, oppressive. So don't necessarily walk into any place of Lubbock, Texas thinking you're gonna find the best, but if you go to Greenhouse in Lubbock, Texas, and you see bands like Ghost Lux, you're gonna find some great people, you're gonna find a great time, very open-armed community, and we are very happy to play there. Other than that, honestly, like we're still learning a lot. I think New York has a cool scene. they have a lot of venues, and like people are just able to play without that kind of monetary oppression of like this has to sell out and it has to look a certain way and it has to, you know, go this way to be successful. There's just more historic spaces for that. So yeah, New York's cool too. Other than that, we're trying to find out. So if you're watching this and you're about to hit the road and you need some kids to come out with you and open up, then please hit us up.
Do you have any advice for indie artists, or anything that in specific has worked for you that you haven't mentioned, or anything that, as you know, you've gone hasn't worked for you and you learned from that? Any advice on that?
I'll say my own thing first. Like, I didn't do music for so long. Like, I went off and I went to school and I did my corporate career, and I just kind of thought it was over for me. I didn't even think it was like a possibility, but I'm just like, you just have to do it. You just have to like take the leap, and like, I don't want to have any regrets looking back on my life. And even if, you know, this is where we get to and we're just playing a couple shows, like, I have no regrets about that. And it's been such an amazing journey and transition, like, into being kind of a full-time artist. It's been something. But you got to do it.
Yeah, I'd say, you know, it's like all the cliches, but it's have no fear, know why you're doing it, do it for yourself, do it with your friends, like, just get up and go, like, don't wait, you know, just keep going. Some days it's gonna suck, and that's totally fine. Like, embrace those days as much as you embrace the wins, you know. And if you ever find yourself having a show with a bunch of old men that you weren't prepared to, you know, just grab them, chug a beer, find the common ground. It's gonna be all good, man. Free Palestine.
Fuck ICE.
Fuck ICE. No war in Iran. And just go hug your friends, go lead with love. And you know what? We're gonna be bigger than them. That's all we can do. And hell yeah. That's all I have to say.
Hey,
Mush is love.
Mush is love.
Frog Song saves.
Frog Song saves.
Teens Media Network, thank you for having us.
Thank you.